Hi, I'm Reverend Grace. This is the companion video to a rather big video for me. This is in a series of, I wanted to create videos for people that want to pray along with someone else to the Rosary. So I started with the very traditional, with all the glory bees and the Lord's prayers. You might have been following the series, you might have seen those. The next one is how I started praying. So it's quite the traditional prayer, but some of the little things have changed. Have a look at video 2 for that in the companion one. This is where, I don't know, I almost feel nervous to make this and put this out into the world, but this is a long time coming, and it's funny because I just looked over and I've got this cute My Painted Bear prayer cards, and I don't know why, I just thought, oh, I'll draw one anyway. The card is "Let your faith be bigger than your fear." Little mouse on a dandelion. So anyway, let's crack on. So yeah, this you might have actually started with the pray along with me video, and thought, what on earth is this? And you've ended up back here, or maybe you're here first. But so this series is the progression of where I started with the Rosary prayer years ago, and through it's changed over time, and this is the point now where the Rosary really started to shift for me. This is not just because I fancy being a bit different and awkward and I want to change things. I couldn't be any more aware of the fact that this is a prayer that started a sort of joint effort, seems to be, with St. Dominic and the good lady herself, requesting him to formulate how people were praying around. Was like 150 beads for all of the Psalms. I will be making a video one day of other history to do with the Rosary, and specifically women using beads for prayer, and that is directly in relation to Divine Feminine, the Goddess, Mary, through eons. But this is a prayer that's been around for like 800 years, and here am I, some upstart, deciding to go off on my own tangent here. I say that it's not really a decision, actually. I suppose I have decided, I've chosen to do it, but it's something that's come about through a long time of praying these beads. And I am a devotee to Mary. That is for a very particular reason, and that's not for this video. I keep saying that in other videos, but anyway, the day will come. So yeah, this has come through prayer, meditation, and literally spending time in conversation with Our Lady. And it's not just because I've decided to randomly go off and do my own thing. So the prayer at the start, so instead of the Lord's Prayer, again, I haven't just gone and like, fancy rewriting the Lord's Prayer as well, let's give that a go. No, this has come from Talmud of Jmmanuel. This is the English translation that was translated from German, and it was translated from Aramaic into German. It was some scrolls that were found. There's a huge story to this. Look into it for yourself. Talmud of Jmmanuel. It even says here Jesus was a nickname that was given to Jmmanuel some years after crucifixion. And funny, because very recently somebody was doing a lecture or a presentation or a talk, and they said that a theologist, and they said that it was Paul who changed the name. Ever since Paul's writings came in, he used the name Jesus. So whether that's directly come from him or from those times, I don't know. But these scrolls were found in a very interesting thing. Him and another guy, can't remember his name, anyway, guided to go and find these scrolls, and they were there where they were told that they were going to be. So these two guys, one is Billy Meyer. I don't want to get too wrapped up in this, but because there's a huge story around this. But anyway, this is is basically very much like Matthew in your New Testament. It starts off chapter 1, the genealogical tree of Jmmanuel. Some say Jmmanuel, some say Jeheshua, some say Jeheshua Benjamin. Of course, then you've got your Yeshuas. That's a whole nother world of thing. But this is Jmmanuel, as I say, and it starts off with the Adam begat this and they begat that, exactly the same as it does in St Matthew. The whole way through, you can see. Now, some are saying that this, not very many. But some would say that this, Matthew, has come from this. And there's also the thing of like Matthew comes first. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke and John in the Bible. But that Mark maybe was written first than Matthew. But then again, that's what I heard a long time being. But more recently, again, that order. This is what you get when you get experts and scholars. They can't always agree. So this is page 34. Now, how I realise I've said it in the pray along video is actually, I look at this back today and I realise it's slightly different. This prayer here is my spirit, you are omnipotent. Your name be holy. Let your kingdom incarnate itself in me. Let your power unfold itself within me, on earth and in the heavens. Give me today my daily bread, so that I may know gratitude and truth, and lead me not into temptation and confusion, but deliver me from error. For yours is the kingdom within me, and the power and the knowledge forever. Amen. And that's interesting, just as a side note, because the Catholics, obviously they say deliver me from evil, whereas this is but deliver me from error, and they stop there. And it's the Church of England, the Protestant one, that goes on, and thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory forever and ever, amen. So that's interesting that came after the Catholic one, I believe that makes sense in the timeline of it all. And yet here we have, for yours is the kingdom within me, and the power and the knowledge forever. Amen. So anyway, interesting side note. I've really felt that this, and the research that I did into this Talmud of Jmmanuel and who Billy Mayer is, it gets a lot into ET stuff. This relates to ET presence being written about and situations and happenings written about in the Old Testament, especially of the Bible. And there is a little bit of it in the New as well. So you can think about what you like about ETs and whether, that there's a lot of talk of that now, and that's maybe one of the truths as we're entering or in the beginnings of the Aquarian age, which is the opening up of knowledge. That's interesting. This UFO stuff is coming up a lot. Maybe this is part of old truths or truths that have been kept hidden or are meant to be kept hidden. We weren't ready for it somehow. So the next thing you'll notice, crossing the body. So again, I'm a devotee to Mary. Yeshua is very important. Jeheshua, Jmmanuel is very important in my life. But if there's for the purpose and the path in my life, it's definitely very much driven along the Mary line rather than splitting off into all sorts. I am an interfaith minister. I used to be more Buddhist. I would more sign myself up if I had to. It would be the way of the Taoism. But anyway, I'm very influenced by the focus really for me is on Mary. So she is the mother of all, the great mother. And so I felt it really wrong. I should probably do a separate video on this. This video is going to go on for hours. But anyway, as you'll notice in the Pray Along With Me video that goes with this one, Father, Sun on the solar plexus. Obviously that's solar plexus, the sun, but we think SUN, but because of the church thing we think Sun, SON. I quite like the sort of flick between the two. because funny enough, it's that point in your body. And then Holy Spirit crossing the heart. And the first day that I went, and the mother, and it was like electric went through me that day. And I don't, when I was on my ministry course, I wasn't very connected with my body, and my peer partner that I trained in spiritual counselling with, you have peer partners. In the second year, each year you get a different peer partner, and this is a lady who has phenomenal knowledge, experience, and everything. Thank you, Jane. Thank you. Does all kinds of work professionally with energies and land energies and bodies and Bowen therapy and all sorts. Anyway, she clocked this within the first week and of us being paired up, and it was something that she really just dropped little bits, whether she realised she's doing it or not, and I became more connected with my body. So when I felt this electric thing, you're like, oh, that's a really true example of this feeling something that's right in your body. Now when I do it, because that was, I don't know, that's 2022, that must have been. So we're in 2025, so it's been quite a while. Now it's not necessarily every day that I do this, it's the electric, but it just gives a real sense of completion. And yeah, there's still like a warmth as soon as I make that connection, and the mother. The other thing that I started thinking about with the whole crossing of the body thing is it struck me with the solar plexus and then the mother being on the heart chakra, is that, you know, and I wouldn't, they don't promote this openly. I've never heard this promoted openly in the church, but it's it's a funny old thing how you're connecting with, say, energetic or acupuncture or meridian lines, old energy and different worldwide known energy thing. You're on the third eye here, you're on the solar plexus there, shoulder, these points here just inside the shoulder and under the collarbone are your lungs. Breath, air, pretty key, pretty important. If you're thinking, I'm thinking now, Holy Spirit, that's kind of like it's an air thing. It's an all around you. It's the breath of life. So yeah, that's just struck me actually. Lung point. And then the heart. So yeah, that's. It's not just, I don't know why, I haven't quite got to the root of the history of this crossing the body thing. But I would think because we're you know, spirits in this bodysuit, however you want to say it, so there's something, a connection between that, the outer, the upper, the ethereal, and the higher consciousness, the spirit, whatever we're calling it, whatever we're seeing it as, and this body, this physical thing that is our vehicle to carry that around in. So it seems like it's the connection between Father, Son, the words of who those, and the mother, who those people, what those things are, with this physical touching of the body. It's like grounding it in. And maybe doing something energetic to the body. I asked my Qigong teacher, but we didn't get time to really get into discussion about it. So yeah, there's always things to get more and more to the bottom of. So then I get on to the big beads. You might notice, if you haven't got your head down, looking at your own notes, because this is new and you've had to write this out. So maybe I should do like a printed document thing. Make this easy for people. Yeah, have a think about that. Anyway, put it in the comments if you would like that, and then I should put my brain to just firing it off to you on your email or whatever. So yeah, so you might notice that if you were watching me pray, as in the pray along video, you might notice that I was looking down. It's because I was reading, because it's evolved again and again, and that's a future video. So I had to keep a check that I was on the right ending, because the ending changes here each time. Holy Mary, Mother of all, the first decade. Holy Mary, Queen of Peace. That's a typical name for Mary. That's probably Mother Mary. That's one that you've probably all heard. Queen of the Light, that's certainly one that I've heard. The next one, now this is one that's really, Queen of the Light is very significant to me, and again that's a video for another day. So Moon's Mirror is the fourth one, and this is one that came to me. This when I started changing this, I typed these out because I made a set of rosary beads for when my One Spirit class of 22 met up on our first reunion, and I made everybody rosary beads using crystals, and so this was the prayer sheet for them. And that would have been early 23. So all of this, I was praying like this in 22, but by April 2023, Moon's Mirror was something that came through as I'm in prayer. So I would be praying these up here like I had been for months and months and months, and then suddenly I'm thinking that I'm going to say, I don't know, like Queen of Peace, and Moon's Mirror pops out. So and again, it's the bodily feeling of how that, you know, that's physically resonating with me. That seemed a key one. Maybe I'll go into these. I should go into these meanings more one day. Very divine feminine there, restoring that. The moon phases, feminine cycles, menstrual cycles, Mother Mary, it's very much divine feminine, it's very much in a loop there. Also at the end there, so it's still some of the traditional Hail Mary, although actually it says Hail Hello, because by this time I'm really feeling like I've had such a strong connection. I just had such a strong connection with Mary. It's down the way, a long way of praying, and I just had such a conversational connection with Mary at that point. That it was like, I was also thinking, and I haven't still got to the root of this actually. It was a thing that you see in old movies of like Roman chariots and all that, and go, Hail Caesar! And here we are saying Hail Mary, and you hail a cab. It's not a word that, apart from hailing a cab, it's not, and probably people don't, they just call it Ubering now, don't they? But in London, maybe I think there's people like my cousins, they're still hailing cabs. Hail that cab! So yeah, it's a word that's a bit unfamiliar to us. It's not really in our common language today, apart from here. So I was trying to think what it was. And is it like hail? It's like trying to get her attention? Or when they would say, Hail Caesar, was it like a respect and a sort of, you know, all bow down to Caesar kind of a thing? So sometimes, depending, because I'm just, you know, generally I'm just praying on my own, so sometimes I go, Hello Mary, because it would be like, hello, or maybe even just on the first one it'd be like, Hello Mary, this is like, hello, good morning, this is the start of our conversation today. I don't know, a bit like that. So yeah, it's still got the beginning of the prayer, although I've put so full of grace, because it's just like adoration. I just like, oh, you're so full of grace. So that's how it feels for me. Again, this is just sort of like it feels like not that it was a cold prayer, but it's warming it in some way. I'm having a relationship with Mary. I'm praying to her every day, and I don't feel that it's a one-way street. So, you know, if that sort of thing feels right. The Lord is with thee, same line. Blessed art thou among women, same line. Then we get to blessed are the fruits of your loom. Now, there's a bit of a story to this, because in the bottom, in my explanation that I've put to my friends, and this actually does stand and still make sense to me. I say fruits of the loom because Mary has brought forth so many graces and miracles, more than Jesus in the world. Well, that's quite a claim. Maybe he's still doing stuff, magical things, and we just don't know it. Whereas maybe Mary's doing stuff because like she's appeared and people have been healed, and there's been miracles of healing at sites, apparition sites, for years since. So anyway, really the bottom line was I couldn't, and this has been the same since childhood, since I was in that chapel when I was at school, and we had to go mass every Sunday with Father Kilgareth, and sometimes the word womb would come up and I just couldn't say it. just like really, oh, I don't know, just really had an aversion to saying it. Anyway, it was last year before, I think, 2 years ago. In fact, it was not long after I gave this to all my friends in the reunion at April, and I think it was in the May. I went to see my spiritual mentor up country, and I raised this, and then he made me explore it. Anyway, he is an amazing person who is able to do the whole thing of going through Akashic records and opening up, and guides are helping him heal things and sort things out, and past karma and trauma and all that sort of thing. And he was able to see a past life or two, and weirdly, again, this is for another video, weirdly one was at exactly the time of Jesus being crucified, but this is another video. Anyway, all these little teasers, and they're not meant to be. I'm just trying to keep on track and keep this to the point. Anyway, he did some work there, and literally, boom, since that session I had with him, womb, I can say it as many times as I like. So that's part of the reason why it's progressed again for me, because, and this will be the one in the next video, yeah, I can say womb. So, and that line has changed again. I did really feel, though, that blessed are the fruits of your loom, and that was almost actually a gratitude from me as well. Wow, look at all the stuff you've done in the world. Thank you so much. And also what the Rosary has done. Now, again, if you look into the I will do a video on it, because for a long time I was gathering information for myself, for my own study, on the Rosary, history of it, and what's happened. So there's one example. I want to say Singapore, but I don't think it was. There was somewhere, it wasn't Tiananmen Square. What was it? Manila. There was somewhere where there was a war, and tanks and gunmen were ploughing through, and people were just praying the Rosary. And I need to get you the full story, really, but they didn't shoot them. They put down their weapons, and some of them actually converted as a thing of what happened that day. Now, either that's the full story or I've missed the bits of the story, but anyway, there is a power to... Oh, there's also, if you studied World War II at history, and when you saw, now it was either Nagasaki or Hiroshima, and I'm not sure which one, but there's a famous photo that you see the absolutely decimated landscape, and you see there's a church-looking building. That was full of... Now, was it Dominican monks? It would make sense if it was St. Dominic. But some monks were in there. I'm pretty sure they were monks. And at the time that bomb dropped on that city, they were praying the Rosary, and you see, I mean, they survived, and the rest of the place around them was decimated. How is that possible? So anyway, thank you to Mary for all the miracles, but I no longer say that line. Oh, and then at the end, I've put bringing back the divine feminine, 3 kisses. That is kind of the point of what I'm... it's a bit of a... I don't want to use the word mission, but it's... I suppose it is a mission. It's my personal path. I'm not entirely sure I have a full understanding of what all that is, and that's another avenue that I should be exploring through conversation. And study with people, time spent with people, some future videos that will be coming up. So yeah, this is a part of a series. This is, as I've said, it's the progression of the prayer. There's one more main one to go, and then I will be doing sets of without companion videos. I will be doing different variations, because so for example, some of you will use the word Yeshua, some will say Jehoshua Benjamin, some will say Jmmanuel, not very many. Over time, I will work through videos using the different names, using the traditional Lord's Prayer with the conventional, my new way progression of praying, and there'll be the different variations and combinations so that you will be able to find the one that resonates with you. Also, it's a case of making it your own. I made some rosary beads for a lady who is a churchgoer. She's Church of England. I'm not sure she'll pray the rosary. I'm not sure it's something that she would like to get into, but I just slightly changed the ending of the prayer to in a healing context, because she had a huge cancer operation and she was going to be out of action for a while, and she really needed that healing and that recovery. So yeah, I'm not saying, you know, it's like any sort of prayer, isn't it? You can pray for shoes and a new car and whatever if you want to, but I don't know, a bit like a hot fuzz, pray for the greater good. Yeah, it's about being in connection with Mary, with the greater other, the great mystery of it all, and yeah, sending peace out into the world, or doing it in a smaller, more local network for people who I realised that was something else actually. So on the previous companion video, when one of the things that I changed up is the 5 beads at the end is for gratitude. So but I found myself, as I was recording the Pray Along With Me video for this one, I found myself actually praying for because these ones I did pray for particular people. This first bead I call my Ephrata bead. There's a little girl in Ethiopia who I sponsor at a school, yeah, so this is always my Ephrata bead. But today, yeah, so gratitude or just praying for others. And this became a combination of praying for such and such, and they go, you know, oh, and actually thank you for that. So yeah, you're autonomous beings. You use these how you wish. Getting back to the beginning of this video, when I was worried about changing the prayer, and then more recently it's been a case of like knowing that I'm going to put this out into the world. Again, it was on the session that I went to last year with my spiritual mentor. I don't really call him that, but I can't think of a better term to use. I spoke to him about this, and I said, you know, is this okay that I'm doing this? Usually at the end of our sessions together, we go into meditation, and he is relaying to me what he's seeing. The two or three times Mother Mary rocked up in the second one, and she said she was very clear about the fact that I wasn't doing anything wrong, and this is exactly, you know, how I should be praying the rosary. And yeah, do with that what you will. Some were saying, oh, well, he could have just been saying that, and oh, yeah. This is like, this guy's next level, and I like to think that I hone my powers of discernment, and this guy's got the pedigree that is required to do the work that he does. There's no bullshit there. So yeah, I can take that on good authority, and knowing the connection that I have with Mary, I can take that on good authority. So to round up, you can go now. You are ready to go and fully understand and pray on the Pray Along With Me video. Look out for the next one, which is how I pray the rosary now. And again, with the companion video, probably won't be as long as this one because this has taken quite some explanation, but maybe it will. So thank you for spending time with me, and I really hope you got some value or some interest out of this. So if you really enjoyed this video, you've got all the way to here. A great way to show appreciation is to hit the like button. I'd love to hear your comments, even if you think it's an abomination and you've got some, you know, really good sort of challenging question about it or comment, then yeah, put that down below. I love wrestling with a bit of a challenging comment. And yeah, share the video. I'm a new channel. There's going to be an absolute wealth of information of all kinds and interests and rabbit holes and all sorts to do with spiritual matters, esoteric, theological, yeah, a right old mix of stuff. I've been studying and experiencing and practicing and doing all kinds of things for a fair few years now, so it's kind of all a melting pot of all of that. So yeah, like, subscribe, share around, and get on your tray of letters and have a chat with each other and with me. Okay, take care. Peace be with you.